Yeah, it's going.
Okay.
All right, here I go.
Go ahead. All right.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Rocky from 1976. Directed by John G. Avildsen and was written by Sylvester Stallone based on him, but in a fictional way. Rocky is one of my favorite movies of all time and one of my favorite franchises. Unlike Batman and James Bond, who's been played by multiple actors, Rocky Balboa has been played by the one and only Sylvester Stallone. It's a feel-good movie that puts you in the spirit and that keeps your spirits alive. Even if you're not a sports fan or a boxing fan, this is a must-see movie for all film buffs. It's also a movie that inspired me to work out. The only difference is I'm not trying to be a heavyweight champion. I wish. I wish I was a good boxer. It's a franchise with lovable characters and memorable moments in the series. It's what made the series so great and popular to this day. Rocky was released on November 21st, 1976. The film grossed $225 million at the box office. It was well received by critics and audiences and got critical acclaim. It was nominated for 10 Academy Awards and won 3 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Editing, and Best Director. Rocky made Sylvester Stallone an A-list actor. Prior to this, he had done small roles in TV shows, movies, and some B-movies. He had a small part in Bananas playing a street thug on the subway, beating Woody Allen up. He played a biker and a greaser in Lords of the Flatbush, and done some Roger Corman movies like Cannonball and Death Race 2000. Then he has starred in movies like the Rambo films, Expendables, and some action films, and Copland, a critically acclaimed drama film. Rocky's about Rocky Balboa, a 30-year-old boxer past his prime. He's poor and he's struggling to make ends meet. He does underground boxing for some money, and he works for a loan shark collecting debt. Rocky dates Adrian, who works at a pet store. She's shy, lacks low self-esteem, and has no confidence, but Rocky sees the beauty in her that nobody else does. He ends up falling in love with her. Apollo Creed gives Rocky the chance and opportunity of a lifetime to fight for the heavyweight championship after when his opponent can't fight because of an injury. So Rocky starts training to become the heavyweight championship of the world. Rocky Balboa is lovable and sympathetic. He may come from a rough area and may be a tough guy and a boxer, but he has a good, kind heart. He doesn't break a guy's hand because he knows the fact that if he broke the guy's hand, that he'll be out of a job and won't be able to pay off his debt. He is kind, very generous, and has a good heart. When he takes little Maria home, giving her advice on what would happen if she hung out with the wrong crowd and what her future reputation will be like, this really shows how really great of a person he really is. And watching this movie makes you really feel as if he really was a real person. Scenes like that shows how Rocky is a really loving, caring person, that he really grows on you. To me, Rocky really feels like a realistic and a real person, in my opinion. Rocky Balboa's opponent, Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers. He's arrogant, he's cocky, and he's mean, but he is fair enough to give Rocky a shot at the title. But the movie shows how he lets his ego get in the way, how that he's too busy on marketing and business for trying to promote the fight, rather than trying to think to himself what he's up against, thinking that fighting Rocky Balboa will be easy. But when his trainer Duke watches TV and sees Rocky beat up the meats, he realizes that maybe Rocky won't be so easy as it looks to fight for someone who was never a professional boxer before. This is an example of showing what happens when you let your ego and cockiness get in the way. Girlfriend Adrian, played by Talia Shari from the Godfather movies. When we are first introduced to her, we see that she works at a pet shop. She lacks self-confidence, and she's shy, and has no self-esteem. But when she starts dating Rocky, we see how her self-esteem and confidence rises up. She's a great girlfriend to Rocky, despite not understanding why he wants to fight, but deep down she just supports him no matter what. When Rocky takes Adrian to the ice skating ring on their first date, we see the chemistry, the love, and the attraction they both have for each other. We also sympathize with Adrian for how mean and abusive her brother Paulie can be. Paulie, played by Burt Young, is Rocky's crazy friend. He's mean, he has a bad temper, he's an alcoholic, but he does respect and support Rocky in fighting Apollo Creed. Back in 2013, I had the pleasure of meeting Burt Young at Chiller Theater, New Jersey. Rocky's trainer Mickey, played by Burgess Meredith, who we all know played the Penguin in the 1960s Batman TV show with Adam West. He plays Mickey, a trainer who helps Rocky to fight Apollo Creed. Mickey is mean, harsh, and cruel to Rocky, but deep down he really cares about Rocky, making sure that all the fame does not get to his head. Mickey wants to train Rocky to fight Apollo Creed. It's moments like that what makes the film great, when Rocky's being so dramatic about how his apartment stinks and how that Mickey was never there for him years ago when he asked to help him fight. Rocky's had a big impact on these characters. Bill Conti's score has become so iconic, one of the best film soundtracks in history of film. When Rocky runs to the Philadelphia Museum and they play Gonna Fly Now, anytime I hear that song, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Rocky running the steps at the Philadelphia Museum. I've been there twice, and of course, like all Rocky fans, they all go there to run the steps like in the movie, but Didn't run around all Philadelphia like in the movie. Taj just pump you and motivate you to work out and go run a marathon. Rocky is trained for the big fight against Apollo Creed. The night before the fight, Rocky is scared of losing, worrying about failing himself and others. But the whole moral of this movie is, win or lose, you go out there and give it your best and go the distance no matter what. And you give it your best shot. I love the finale when Rocky finally fights Apollo and goes the distance with him. The fight choreograph scenes are done so well that you feel like you're watching a realistic, real-life boxing event. You would think that for the way the film ends, that when Apollo says he wants no rematch with Rocky, realizing that he can go the distance with him and that he fights with heart, that never in a million years that people would ever imagine that Rocky would be an ongoing franchise with sequels and the spin-off Creed movies. Facts about Rocky the movie. When Sylvester Stallone wrote the movie, he was flat out broke. He only had $106 in his bank account and no car. He wouldn't sell his script to United Artists unless he was able to star in the movie. The dog Buckus was an actual real dog that Sylvester Stallone had in real life. In reality, he had to give away Buckus because he could not afford to feed him. Quit smoking in real life because he was short and out of breath. Rocky was one of the highest grossing films of 1976. During the audition for Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers punched Sylvester Stallone in the chin so hard that he won the role because of that. The injury to Rocky's finger was an actual real-life injury that Stallone got while playing football. Despite what Stallone said that it took him 3 days to write the script to Rocky, the film went through 9 different rewrites. The film was going to originally have a darker tone to it. Mickey was originally written as a racist, and originally the ending was going to be where Rocky does not fight Apollo Creed, realizing that he did not want to be a boxer. For Rocky came from a fight that Sylvester Stallone saw on TV when Chuck Wepner versus Muhammad Ali on March 24th, 1975. Sylvester Stallone and Carl Weathers suffered injuries during the making of Rocky. Sylvester Stallone bruised his ribs and Carl Weathers damaged his nose. This was the first sports movie to win an Academy Award for Best Picture. Breakout, he was making $36 a week as an usher. That Rocky owns, Cuff and Link. To this day, those turtles are still alive, and Stallone still owns those turtles. That you see in Rocky's apartment, those were actually real-life pictures of Sylvester Stallone and his family. Harvey Keitel auditioned for Paulie. John G. Avildsen was offered to direct the film. He turned it down at first because he was not a boxing fan. He had never seen a boxing movie or nor had seen a real-life boxing event. But once he read the script, that he was convinced with Sylvester Stallone in doing the film because he liked the story so much. Rocky Balboa inspired from him. Susan Sarandon turned down Adrian because she felt like she was too pretty for the role. This is his third film to win Best Picture in the last 5 years. And Sylvester Stallone did not get along at times when they made this movie. They would have heated arguments sometimes depending on where they had to shoot the movie location-wise between Philadelphia and Los Angeles. Rocky was shot in 28 days for the part of Apollo Creed, but he turned it down because of creative differences. Real-life boxer Kenny Norton was offered the part of Apollo Creed, but they ended up rejecting him because of how big and tall he was, thinking that it would be too much for Sylvester Stallone to have someone tower over him. Reviewing the first Rocky movie. Stay tuned for Rocky 2. Please like the video, hit the subscribe button, and click on that notification button to get my latest updates on my channel.